morning. Welcome to Face, a virtual classroom. Our sessions are designed with you in mind. Our goal is to support your child's learning and to offer a variety of programming that will help to build your knowledge and growth around various topics. Today's session is entitled Eat Smart, Move More. We offer weekly classes which are hosted live, recorded, and then uploaded to our CPS YouTube channel at bit.ly/face YouTube. Again, our sessions are recorded. Today's presentation will be followed by a conversation with Martina Curry. The chat will be open throughout the meeting to allow you to type your questions. Please keep your questions until the end, and then we will make sure that they are answered. We ask that you mute your mic, be respectful with your comments, and be brief when sharing. We'd love for you to sign up for our newsletter, which can be found at bit.ly/face newsletter. That link will also be placed in the chat. If by some chance you happen to present your screen, no worries. Please select the stop presenting and everything will return to normal. We invite you to join us for our next sessions, which will be in November, starting the 1st, which is not on here, but there is a session for the 1st. Also the 3rd, which will be an ODLSS session and a Go CPS session. The 4th Thursday, which is about college and careers. And we'll have an Ask the Expert session coming up next week as well. Finally, please join us for the next Eat Smart, Move More session next Friday in both Spanish or in English. Without further ado, I want to thank Ms. Curry for joining us. Eat smart, move more, plan. Know what you're going to have for dinner. I invite her to introduce herself. And thank you so much, Ms. Curry.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to be part of the nutrition classes. My name is Martina Curry, and I've been part of the extension for the last 39 years. And what I like about this program is the diversity of participants that I've been working with, and especially that even though that I've been for so long, this is a program that is not only for me to teach you, but for you, for me to learn from you too, because it's many way of cooking, it's many way of saying so many words. And remember, I'm not here to tell you how to do things. I'm here to share some information about basic nutrition and different topics that sometimes we have hard time with our family. Today, I'm going to be working with Marcia Kay, that she's going to be helping me with the slides, and I'm ready to start with the class, which we're going to be talking about fruits and vegetables, which is a topic that many of us have a hard time introducing fruits and vegetables to our family. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of them. Okay, if this can be in the center because it's on one corner, let me pin this. Okay, let me pin it. Okay, thank you. One thing that we have to keep about fruit and vegetables, that they have color, texture, and flavor. And when you fix your meals, that's one thing that you have to keep in mind in order for the kids to try to eat them more. Okay. The importance of fruit and vegetables is because are going to keep our heart healthy. It's going to help us with the vision, strong bones and teeth. It's going to help us with some type of cancer in a healthy way. In other way, they have nutrients and minerals that are important, and it's better to get it from the actually from the food than to get it from vitamins, supplements. They are low in calories, high in fiber, create sense of fullness. And sometimes we hear the word fiber. When you hear that word, what comes to your mind? If you want to share it in the chat or unmute the microphone. What you understand about fiber? Because they always say have a lot of fruit and vegetables that have fiber. Do you know why they say that? One of the reasons that they said that is because it's going to help us to digest better the food. Another way for us to go more often to the bathroom and not to be constipated. That's the reason of that, you know? Very good, okay? When we prepare those meals, keep in mind to add colors. Look at how beautiful is that rainbow of fruit and vegetables. They are red, yellow, green, blue, purple, white. And when you fix that food, adding all those colors, they're going to look more appeal for them to try it. Before we used to say fruit and vegetables only, but beans are included too because they are a good source of fiber. They have protein, but they are included because of the fiber that it has. How much fruit and vegetables we need to eat every day. They are giving us some ideas, but am I saying that you have to go and force it to them? Remember, try to do it slowly, and you're gonna building up to the amounts that is sitting there. Just to give you an example, children that they are from 2 to 3 years, they need 2 cups. That means that they need 1 cup of vegetables and 1 cup of fruit. From 4 to 8, 3 to 3.5 cups, 1.5 cups of vegetables and 1.5 cups of fruit. Am I saying you're going to be measuring? No. But your goal is to be in every meal, in every snack, add them, and you will see that you're going to be building up to that amount. How many vegetables should I eat every day? And they didn't say children. It's everybody in the household, everybody. Doesn't matter how old they are, we need vegetables. We need to, the goal will be to have 2.5 cups per day. And again, if you start measuring, it's going to be a little bit frustrated. Your goal would be to be adding a little bit at a time until you get to that amount. Just to give you an idea, 1 cup is 1 cup measure is half a cup of cooked vegetables. And then if you eat half a cup plus half a cup, it will be 1 cup. But again, sometimes when we put it on the plate, it looks too much. Just start slowly. Next. The same thing with the fruit. I think that many times we don't have problem with the fruit. It's something that we eat a lot, but keep in mind that you will add. The goal will be to add a variety. Not because my kids like banana, let me give them banana all the time. Just try to add a little bit of everything because we want them that when they go to school, they don't struggle with the type of food that they're going to be getting at school. It's important to choose fruit without added sugar, especially that's why we need to look at the labels. It comes fresh, frozen, and canned. All of them are good. All of them have the same nutritive value. But then when you buy the can, try to make sure that it said packed in their own juice or low syrup, okay? Because you don't want to have to add too much sugar, especially that corn syrup is going to have flavor, but it's going to be adding calories to our body. Keep in mind that it's important to wash those fruits and vegetables. I know that if you decide to wash them before you put it in the refrigerator or before you put them on the table, because sometimes they just grab it and keep going, just make sure to wash it with a brush and dry them real good and put it on the table or storage them in the refrigerator. Only the ones that they're going to be using at that time, because if you wash all of them and you don't dry them real good, they're going to get spoiled. Keep in mind that some fruit and vegetables are going to be cooked. Some of them are not going to be cooked. That's why it's important for you to keep the meat away from them, because fruit and vegetables cook at certain temperature than the meat, poultry, or fish. Variety. We can find it fresh, frozen, and canned. Fresh is going to give you more. Try to get them on season. Season means when they are less expensive, when they are juicy. If you see now it's very cold outside, and one fruit that you're going to find a lot and very juicy is will be apples. Frozen are halfway cooked, and you finish them cooking at home. And canned is already cooked, and it's just to open it, the fruit, and eat it, or the cans like vegetables and corn, it's just to warm it up and eat it. Buy fruits and vegetables that are on season, like I mentioned. It's the fruit market. Fruit market means that they're going to come from the farm to the stand. You can choose whatever you want to. Many of them are organic. And if it's in the budget for you to buy them organic, go ahead and do it. But don't you can find organic too in the store too, in a variety of them. Make sure that when you go to those stores or to those places, farm market, make sure that they sell you the good quality. Okay. Sometimes I see those truck parked outside and those fruit and vegetables that's been sitting in that sun all day. Remember, the quality is going to be less and less and less. You want them to be firm. You want them to be in the nice shape, not uh, burst or nothing like that. How do you introduce fruit and vegetables? Remember, the first thing is that we are the example. How we're going to be teaching them? By eating them in front of them. Okay. Sometimes we're going to be eating some of them that we're not too crazy about, but then combine them with all the type of fruit or make a fruit salad. Okay. Have them in the counter, have it in the refrigerator, give it for them for snack instead of putting sugar. If you do cereal, instead of putting sugar, put some slice of banana and also raisins. Those gonna be the flavor that you need. Do a smoothies too. Combine them, different type of them. You add in the milk, you add in the yogurt. But keep in mind that the best way to get it would be in the fruit as natural. Okay, because sometimes when we have the smoothie, we have the tendency of having too many. We just want to have the serving size that is recommended of that. Check the temperature in your refrigerator. One thing that I mentioned it previously is that it would be good to have a thermometer in in your refrigerator. It's going to tell you if it's right, the temperature in there, and it's going to help you for the food to last longer in the refrigerator. Uh, if you're gonna cook something, keep in mind to cook it within 1 or 2 days. The leftovers no more than 5 days, depending what it is. But because we don't keep track of leftovers, if you cook today something, keep in mind, am I going to be eating that in the next 2 days? If you're not going to eat it in the next 2 days, it goes straight to the freezer and you can put it in freezing bag and things like that. And at least once a week, clean up the refrigerator with a solution of bleach. We mentioned it the last time that you prepared that one fourth or teaspoon to 2 cups of water, and that will be the solution that you will use to clean up the refrigerator. What would be one change that you can do? Well, the first change you did it. You are part of the group, this group today. And remember, changes are done slowly. Okay, don't just because I'm sharing this information with you, you're not gonna say, "Oh, I need to do it because it's good for my family." No, do not never force yourself to do something. Make a short term what I'm gonna be doing, an activity that you can do with your children, and that will be a good change for you. We say apples. All of them, we call them apple. Well, then you can buy 3 kinds of apple, learn the name of each one of them, and do that activity with them. Okay, can you tell me you like it? If it's crunchy, if it's soft, if it's sweet. And then another thing is just to try to teach them to eat it with the skin. And like I said, through the lessons that we're going to be doing, you're going to learn how to incorporate fruit and vegetables. And it's, again, slowly. We're never perfect because I have struggled like anybody, but I try to understand better my family and not to have struggle with that. And you're going to do that with the recipe that we're going to be doing today. Any question? Any concern regarding that?
I would like to know, could you share that formula for the cleaning the vegetables again? For the
No, not to be cleaning the vegetables, to be cleaning the refrigerator. The
oh, the
vegetables, yes,
refrigerator.
it's okay. If I talk too fast, I apologize to you. The solution to clean up the refrigerator of the counters of your household will be one fourth of teaspoon of bleach, any kind of bleach, to 2 cups of water, and put it in a spray bottle, and that's the way for you to sanitize the area. Sometimes we think that the more bleach that I put, the better. Not necessarily, because the smell is going to be too strong, and if we have members in the family that have problem with asthma or things like that, is going to trigger that. That's why they said one fourth of teaspoon,
Thank
just
you
to
so much.
sanitize. Yes. And then the best way for you, if I know that in the store they sell many products for you to wash the vegetables and so forth. The best way, if you don't have them on hand, if you don't have the budget to spend on them, is cold water. You use running cold water and use a brush. You can use a toothbrush just especially for that, and wash the skin. You don't put soap because the soap is going to penetrate in those type of food, and you don't let it soak in water neither. You have to let the water be, you need to let the water be running. Remember, all those fruits and vegetables come clean already, because if I give you an example of the potato grows where inside the dirt. And when you buy at the store, it hardly have any dirt, but we have to wash it because any residuals that are in there, and we need to rinse them because all the people have been touching. Another way, when you go to the store and you see those grapes so delicious, so juicy, and you have the temptation to say, "Oh, let me see if they are very juicy," and you clean it up over here in your clothes or you're on the bottom, that's a no no. Okay, we have to wait until we get home. That's why this on season we're going to help you to get the juices one of each type of fruit or even the vegetable, the best quality. And then we're going to be sending you some information later on for you to register. Just give me 1 second. Let me move my background to show you this book that I have in here. If you register in the program, this recipe book that I'm showing it to you, you will get it, and it have all that information in here. Okay, it's gonna help you. Have recipes. It tell you when to buy the fruits and vegetables and season. It tell you how to do a menu planning, because when you do a menu planning, it's gonna help you to include variety in the meals and so forth. And like right now, I'm doing recipes with all of you in each lesson. I have to plan those recipes that I'm going to be doing. And that's going to help you to spend less time in the kitchen, less time on the stove. And that's one of the reasons of this. Any questions so far? No? Okay, then just give me 1 second. I'm going to move from one camera to the other. And we're going to be doing a very simple recipe. Doesn't have to be canned, it can be fresh. Okay. Okay, I got it. Let me move the background. Where are you? Oh, just give me 1 second. Oh, yeah, I did it. Okay, I have to use my feet. Okay, everybody can see it now. Okay, for the recipe today, you can use canned chicken. We're gonna be using canned chicken, and the reason that I'm using canned chicken is because sometimes we find the canned chicken on sale. During this time that we're going through this situation, many of us been going to the pantry or they've been giving us food, hand food, and many of them are in can because it's a way to preserve them longer. I like to have cans at home because if I don't feel like going to the store or something, I could make a meal from what is on hand, and that's what we're gonna be doing. Then, teaching you how to make a meal from what is on hand. And the reason that I'm using canned chicken is because many times they give us that. But if you don't have, you don't need to use canned chicken. You can use fresh chicken, and and sometimes let's say that you have only a tiny piece of chicken, and sometimes we say, it's five of us. What I'm gonna do with this small piece? Well, then you can do this recipe that I'm gonna show you today. Okay. When you do this, you're gonna drain all the liquid. And not only you can do it with chicken, you can do it with salmon, and you can do this recipe with tuna. Marcia, because I'm far from the monitor. If they have question, and if any other parents can help me, if they have question because I cannot see. Okay, the other ingredient that we're gonna be using is crackers, saltine crackers. But let's say that you don't have saltine crackers, okay, and you have uh, other ingredients such as breadcrumbs. You can use it for this recipe too. Also, let's say that you have shake and bake. You can use it too. Or let's say that you have bread, and the bread, you want to use that bread that you have, you can put it in the oven to 200 degrees to dry and crumble it. And it's the same thing as using crackers, okay? That means that if I don't have crackers, I can use bread, put it in the oven, let it dry, and crumble it, and will be the same thing for the recipe, okay? Then then the other ingredients that I'm going to be using for this recipe is going to be eggs. I'm going to be using the eggs in here, and you see how basic it is eggs, cracker, and the canned chicken or tuna or salmon, okay? I don't recommend for you to put this in the blender, because if you put it in the blender, sometimes we can burn the blender. And what you're going to do with a rolling pin, you're going to go back and forth until you crumble those crackers. Keep in mind that if you use wheat crackers, excuse me, wheat crackers, excuse me, is all the fiber is in there, and if you put too much in your in the mixture of the chicken, it's gonna get too dry. You don't want that to happen. Okay, but it would be better to use the wheat crackers, because again, we want to add more fiber to the recipe. And then it's done. And what I'm gonna do now, before I add the crackers, I'm gonna break the chicken, okay? And if you decide to do this recipe with fresh chicken, when you boil that chicken to put it apart, use that broth to do rice and to do soup instead of tossing it out in the sink. Save it, let it cool down, and put it in the freezer for later use. Okay. If you want, you can add black pepper. Okay. You can add just a pinch of salt, because remember, we want to cut the amount of sodium that we have every day. I'm giving you the recipe the simple way, but that doesn't mean that you can create your own recipe. You can add all the vegetables too. But I want always to do the recipe simple, and then you have the opportunity to taste it simple. And then if you want to add all the vegetables, then you can do it. Okay, this is done. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the egg. Okay. And always when you do eggs, always do one egg at a time, because you do it from one bowl to another bowl. And the reason that you want to do one egg at a time, because in case that one egg comes out good, then you have to toss out everything. Okay. Then I'm going to add this in here. Okay. Let me wash my hands, because I touched the egg, and you wash your hands with soap and water. Make sure to use your soap and water. Then you mixture. You're gonna and like I said to you, I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt, just a little bit, because I want, when this cook, for the flavor to get together real good. And why just a pinch? Because remember, the crackers have sodium too, and I don't want to overpower and add more sodium that is necessary. Okay. And when you add the crackers, add them slowly. Don't add too many. It's about 1 cup that you need to add. You don't want to add too much at one point, because okay, you want the moist to get together. I need, for this recipe is 2 eggs, and I'm going to add 1 more egg in here because I double the amount. I'm going to do it in the cup. These are the measuring cup for solid. Okay. And then this, what is you're going to use for measuring the crackers. Okay. And remember, because I'm using eggs, raw eggs, I'm going to put it separate. And I'm going to sanitize that with a solution of bleach or hot water at the end. Okay. And instead of, sometimes we don't want to be eating too much red meat. Well, you can make hamburger, but hamburger with chicken. Okay. Okay. This is ready. You don't need to add too much. I don't want to add no more crackers because I want this to get together. Okay. Then let me clean the area. Okay. And then when you measure, this is the way that you're going to measure. Okay. And then you're going to bring it to the top. And with a knife, you're going to make it even. Okay. Then let's go to the good part. Fixing that food in here. Okay. Oh, she have 2 fry pan. Okay. And the reason that I have 2, and I'm going to use spray because I want to cut the amount of calories when I'm cooking. I'm going to do 1 in here. And I'm going to do another 1 in here. Okay. And before I do my, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, I'm going to turn on the other one. You can use, I'm going to put a little bit of French fries in here. Okay, remember we were talking about adding vegetables. And like I said, they're frozen, are halfway cooked, and you finish cooking them at home. I just want them. Okay, now I'm going to do the patty. And when you do the patty, okay, you want that to be the size of your palm. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. And I'm going to put it over here. Okay. Again, wash your hands with soap and water as warm as you can do because you are touching something that is raw and we don't want a cross contamination from one food to another one. I'm going to lower the heat for both of them. And we have the tendency of putting a lot of oil. None we want it to avoid because you know that they are low in calories is how we fix them. Okay, and you see how this is cooking over here real nice. I'm moving this from the stove because I'm not doing no more right now. And again, washing my hands because I touched the bowl. I don't want no contamination. And this is the life of a person in the kitchen, washing their hands constantly. That's why I always carry. I think almost everybody in the office carry lotion with them because of how much we have to do that. And I'm not doing it because I'm in front of you. I think that this is a habit that once that you learn, you continue doing for so long. And can you imagine? I've been part of the program for so long. This is something that I've been doing for, I lost the count. Okay. Now we're going to turn it around. And you see how nice and brown it's coming. We need to make sure that it cooked properly because we have raw eggs in here. And you see that I touched the eggs in here. I touched something that is raw. I cannot go back in here because it's going to pass from the bacteria. Not that the food is going to be have bacteria on the food, but for safety. That's what is called cross contamination. I have only one in hand. What I'm going to do is wash it real good. I'm going to let hot water run on, and then I'm going to come back and turn this one. Question, okay? Soap and water all the time, and let it run some hot water real good. Because we don't want our family to get sick. It's said that it's about 48 millions that get sick when we don't do things in a proper way. Okay. And if you see, I put the amount of fries based of the serving size. I'm talking this is more or less about half a cup of potatoes. Okay. And I have already the tomatoes, the cheese, and the bread over here. If you want to add ketchup, if you want to add mayo, I have it already there. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of to give some color on this side and turn it back. And you see, like I mentioned it to you before, the fries are already pre-cooked, and I'm going to finish cooking them like this, okay? And they're going to be crunchy, like using a lot of oil, which is many times our tendency. We think that the oil is the one that is going to make it crispy. You can do the fries too if your oven work. You can do it in the oven. The fresh potatoes, you just cut them like slices. Even potatoes or sweet potatoes, you can do that with sweet potato too. Put about a tablespoon of oil, mix it real good, and put it in the oven 400 degree, and you're gonna have excellent juicy potato fries, sweet potato fries. Okay, now it's coming along real pretty. What I'm gonna do now is just to add the cheese because I want mine to be melt. Okay, I'm gonna put it like this because I don't want to be running out. And one thing that you can do, you can use a pot and cover it if you want that to melt faster. Okay. And another thing that you can do, just because it's cooked already, I'm going to put it to the side, and I'm going to put the bread in here to warm it up a little bit. Okay. Gonna a little bit. Now I'm gonna put it. Let me bring it closer. Can anybody? Because I cannot put it on the stove because it's hot. Okay, it's already over here. My hands are clean. Remember, washing, washing, washing all the time. Okay. I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna move it this way. I'm gonna turn off the fry. I'm gonna add it in here. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit of mayo to the bread. And there it is. There's your finished product. Because if you eat only this, you're gonna still be a little bit hungry. And usually when we eat the hamburger, we eat it together with what? With some French fry. Or if you don't have French fry, you can do your own salad and add it there. And look, it didn't took no time whatsoever, either fresh chicken or canned chicken. Because sometimes people have the idea that if they have canned chicken, it's not good. Not necessarily. Questions? Let me change cameras now. Welcome to. Let me change. Okay. Am I? Just give me 1 second. Let me check. I'm turning the other. I know now. Hungry. We are hungry all the time. Ah, okay. I'm getting better with computers. I'm getting better with computers. Okay. There you see. Something simple, something quick. Looks good. Never thought to make chicken burgers. Well, now you know. And not only chicken burgers, you can do tuna burgers and you can do salmon burger. It's the same ingredients, except that the meat will be the different. Instead of chicken, you're gonna use tuna. Instead of tuna, you're gonna use salmon, but it will be the same amount. And the can was, and I'm sorry, I didn't say how much. How what was the ounces? The can was 12 and a half ounces. The can. That means that if you get a can of salmon, canned salmon, it will be the whole can. And then if you want tuna, then if it's too small or one big. Simple. We get tired of eating the same food all the time. What I could do to try something different, well, now you do. Any questions?
If you're eating fresh salmon, because usually I buy the salmon fillets, would you just get a portion that's about 12 or 13 ounces? Take the skin off and grind it down.
Use I believe I never done it with fresh, but based on on what I think it should be done, you still have to cook it in order to be able to mix all the ingredients and for the salmon to be loose like the chicken right now. Because if you well, you can grind it if you have the equipment to do that.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Okay, but then keep in mind that yeah, how
Oh,
small you
fine.
need
Yes.
exactly. But yes, you can do it if it's fresh and you have the equipment. Yes, you can. But for the one that want to use the fresh salmon, then you have to cook it and then make it loose and then do the step because it's not gonna be the same. You're not gonna be able to do it. But if you have the machine to grind the chicken and all those ingredients, yes, you can.
Good stuff. Thank you so much.
And then if you do the chicken, remember that 1 pound is 16 ounces. Then keep in mind that.
And when you grind it, those that pound is gonna look smaller because it's grinded. Then it will be the same as the way that I did it.
Okay.
And then if the person cook the chicken and put it apart, you can do that too. Like when some people do tinga and those type of food, is the same thing. Just and like I said, if you cook it, if you do the fresh chicken, make sure to use the juice for something else, the broth for
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much, Miss
You're
Curry.
very welcome.
Now, if you have a child who will not eat raw vegetables, what would be the healthiest way to cook them and retain their nutrients?
I steam low amount of sugar. I mean, a low amount of water. You're
Mhm.
gonna put a little bit of amount of water and steam those vegetables. Some pots come with like a strainer, and you
Mhm.
put the water on the bottom and put the vegetables on the top, and the steam is going to be the one that is going to cook them. You start counting from the time that is the water start boiling, and you want those vegetables to be what? Crunchy. You don't
Crunch.
want to overcook them, because when you overcook them, you're destroying the vitamin.
Yes.
And then that's why sometimes it's easier for us to eat the vegetables when we go to a restaurant like a Chinese restaurant, and you know that the vegetables we eat them because they taste delicious. But if we cook those vegetables at home like that, I don't like it. Let me overcook it. Let me make it sweet. But it's the seasoning that you add to. It's in the seasoning. That's why it's easy for us to eat those type of vegetables from the restaurant than to eat it at home. And the best way is just to put a small amount of water and bring it to a boil and lower the heat and simmer. Don't leave it at high temperature, because what it's going to be doing it is going to be draining all the liquid. Going to be draining, excuse me, all the liquid. And that's a way for you to preserve. And the good thing about some vegetables is that we can eat some vegetables fresh, some vegetables cooked, like broccoli we can eat it raw, we can eat it, the cauliflower we can eat it raw, and others we can and if you cook the broccoli, make sure that if you use broccoli, not overcook it, because the more that you cook it, the more the less bright it's gonna be, and it look like a dull broccoli and so forth. Any other question? Bon appetit. Bon appetit. Crunchy. It came out crunchy. But it's too early for me to eat this now. I had to leave it for later. That's the only thing bad about the recipes. But it came out crunchy. And like I said, they are already cooked. Frozen are already cooked. You just finish cooking it the rest of the minute. And you saw that it didn't took that long.
What temperature did you heat the pan to for the fries?
No, I just put it low heat.
Low heat.
Yeah, because remember, I'm not using no oil at all. If I have it too high, oh, in the oven, 400 degree, 400.
Thank you so much.
And when you put it in the oven, excuse me for a minute, I'm opening my oven to show you, excuse me, put it in a pan thin, okay? Because if it's too thick, it's gonna take longer to cook, and sometimes it will burn. You want something not too thick, very thinner when you cook, okay? And that is going to help you. And again, make sure that the metal shell is in the middle. It's not too low, because if you put it too low, it's going to burn too. Because remember, you're using 400, and when you use the 400, the heat comes from the top to the bottom, And you want, that's why when you cook, especially now that the holidays are coming, you don't want to put too much food in the oven because you want that heat to circulate and cook everything. And especially that we don't want to spend too much time in the kitchen cooking. Make sure to prepare yourself with plastic bag that are made for the oven. That's going to help you to cook the food faster, such as the turkey or ham or things like that. Because again, we want to enjoy the meal. We don't want to get sick and things like that. Any question? Any comments?
I this is not necessarily geared to this particular topic.
Okay.
A food question. Um, I am of late a honorary grandmother. She's really my grandniece, but I say that all of my sister children are mine,
Uh-huh.
and so her grandchildren would be mine too. And so she's at the place where she's eating food for the first time, and we pretty much make her food. What would you suggest that we focus on to give her a well-rounded, um, a well-rounded palate, as so she won't just want to eat one kind of foods? And we have been steaming them, so that's why I asked that earlier question.
Yeah, just try to put seasoning in there. Many seasonings, you can use seasoning that don't have no sodium in there. I like uh, I like to use some of my seasoning. Uh, Let me show you. It's so many things that you can find in the store. Like me, because of my background, I
Mhm.
use seasoning like this. Let me remove the background. Okay. That it have a combination of different type of blend of vegetables.
Mhm.
One that I start using now, and I use it very, 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 very a little bit just to give it a little bit of flavor. This, because
Oh,
sometimes you get tired of it eating the same food. You want to change the flavor of the food. I'm not promoting,
yes,
okay?
I know.
I'm not promoting nothing, but sometimes you get tired of eating the same food with one flavor. But then I tried this one over here, and even though that this one has sodium in there, I just added a little bit to add flavor to whatever I'm cooking. When you fix that, when you fix the meal, besides because you want to steam the food, the vegetables, because you don't want to add too much sodium or too much butter and things like that. But it's other type of plant-based butter that you can use a little bit, which is more lower than other in cholesterol. Like I said, steam doesn't have to mean meat means take flavor away. You could still add a little bit of salt. Combine those vegetables because when you cook the carrots turn sweet. And if
Mhm.
you don't want to use the long carrot, then use the baby carrots because the baby carrots have a different flavor. And then you can still doing those things combine. When I cook, I like to use a lot of mushroom. The other day I did a soup, and the soup didn't call for mushroom. I add mushroom because I know that mushroom give a unique flavor.
Oh,
Uh, Onions. You can add onions if you do a soup. You can add onions. The other day I was doing a soup of vegetables only. It was carrot, cabbage. I add the mushroom and I add cilantro for flavor, just a little bit of cilantro for flavor. You know the way herbs and spices like garlic, cilantro, Italian herbs, uh, uh,
basil, I love it. I love
yes,
it.
Italian herbs, all those things are going to be bringing flavor when you cook. When you give those vegetables, just a sprinkle a little bit of salt and add herbs and spices for flavor, and you will see. Because I mean, we want to enjoy that food that we're eating. We want to enjoy that. We don't want to say, oops, I have to change my eating habits. And you see that through my lessons, I never said to you, this is the way that you have to eat. It's not about that. And you can find mayo, you can find regular mayo, and you can find plant-based mayo. It's just going to the store and looking through those things. And if it's in your budget, because some of them are expensive, then see how you can am I going to buy this for only one time, or I'm going to be buying this for many times? And that's why you have to think. Did I answer your question, Miss Campbell?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much. I find that when I make her gourds and pumpkin like things, squashes, I put a little turmeric in them.
And with this soup that I did the other day, one of my coordinators were there from one parent university that I'm working with, Mr. Leslie, and he sent me the picture. And to the soup that we did, he add avocado and adding avocado, fresh avocado. He did the soup and he complemented that with the avocado. And when you mix the avocado with the soup, I know that it was real good. But you see, I'm just giving you the basic, and you create your own meal at the end. Doesn't have to be exactly the way that I did it. But if you think, oh, should I try zucchini with those things? Yes, you can. But when you do it, don't add too much, because the zucchini is a strong flavor that is going to overpower the flavor, the recipe. You just add a little bit at a time, and then until you find the flavor that you want. But don't think, oh, I like zucchini, let me add a lot. When you do that, the hamburger is not probably, the flavor is going to be too strong that you're going to say, I don't want it. You always do small step. You always add ingredient small at a time, small amount at a time.
Thank you so much again for all of your expertise and your wonderful information, Ms. Curry. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to ask last call for questions. If there are no questions, we're going to close out this session. I want to thank you all and our presenter for joining us today. Please take the time to fill out the survey. The link should be in the chat. Also, don't forget, Ms. Curry mentioned registering for the class so that you can get more information about the recipe book. Do you want to speak to that one last time, Ms. Curry?
Yes, I will be sending you a form where they're going to be writing their name, the address, how old they are, their telephone number, a few basic questions, and I'm going to be calling them to ask more detailed questions. Like I said, this is something that it will be personal. We're not going to be sharing this information with nobody. And then is going to help us, because remember, this is a program, a government program. We cannot give books just like that. The same way that you take your children to school and register them at school, we have to do the same thing. And I will be sending that to whoever is in charge of the parents university, and they will be sending that information to you, and then they're going to be sending that to me, and then we're going to be working together to do the to complete that information, because I know that if you go straight to the link, you're gonna feel overwhelmed answering those questions, and I will be with you to go step by step and make it easier for you. Because again, I don't want you to be frustrated. I know that sometimes it happened to me. It happened, almost happened to us when we started today, because I was not you, Miss Campbell. I was talking about me. I was trying to put the cameras together, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want that to happen. I want you to enjoy my classes while we are doing it. I want you to feel confident. I want you to be able to share this information with all the participants and so forth. Okay. And then if you don't have any other question, looking forward, Marcia and I looking forward to seeing you the next Friday at the same time with a very delicious recipe that we want to try with all of you. And if you don't have any other question, Miss Campbell, the group is yours.
Thank you so much. Ms. Brenda, would you kindly end the recording? Thank you again, those of you who have joined us today.